Viewers, the latest news about the ongoing conflict between Ethiopia, Tigray, and Eritrea is that as we have received some updates about the ongoing war in the Tigray region, which I will share with you in this video. Yes, according to reports from several reliable sources, heavy fighting is underway at several locations between the Ethiopian National Defense Force, its allies, and Tigray Defense Force on the B30 highway between Shire and Aksum. Thus, according to reports, the Ethiopian National Defense Force and its allies are heading towards Aksum through the B30 highway. About it, I already informed you in a previous video. While Tigray Defense Force soldiers are present on the sides of the Aksum city in the neighboring areas of Aksum, preventing the Ethiopian National Defense Force and its allies from moving further. These reports have also been received from several citizens that heavy fighting is ongoing at different places on the B30 highway, and the sounds of heavy weapons are being heard. On the other hand, there have been reports from Ethiopian National Defense Force that Ethiopian National Defense Force and its allies are moving from Korem to Macho, but no big claim has come out of this front yet. But on the other hand, Tigray People Liberation Front says they are ready for peace talks scheduled for Monday in South Africa. And Tigray People Liberation Front spokesman Gadachurida confirmed that the African Union has informed them about the meeting in South Africa, and now they are planning to attend the talks. On the other hand, the government says it has been invited by the African Union to peace talks in South Africa on Monday, and it would participate in the effort to resolve the spiraling conflict. Yes, on the other hand, towards the end of August, the fighting resumed, starting in northern Amhara region and then spreading. It is unclear which side ended the truce. The United States has blamed Tigray's forces, whereas some European diplomats claim that Tigray's operation may have preempted an attack by federal and Eritrean troops who had massed in Eritrea and around Tigray's southern borders. Because once the fighting was underway, the federal Eritrean campaign increasingly focused on capturing Shire, a city in northern Tigray which fell on 17th October. And federal and allied Amhara regional troops have also made gains in southern Tigray. And Eritrean and Ethiopian troops have carried out air and artillery strikes on central capital Mekelle and Shire, as well as other urban zones, especially near the Eritrean border, and seem intent on capturing the regional capital. Thus, the federal Eritrean push appears to aim at dealing a decisive blow to Tigray forces, which are on the back foot. Eritrea, which has backed Ethiopia's government since the conflict began in late November 2020, now has considerable military might in Tigray. In mid-September, Asmara launched a major mobilization drive to bolster its ranks. The campaign is gaining ground. Tigray's leaders have indicated that their troops, who may number around 2 lakh and had time to regroup during the truce, are now struggling to withstand the onslaught. And ammunition is running low, fuel is in short supply, and federal drones are frequently in the skies, all of which constrains Tigrayan mobility. A source close to Tigray's government told crisis group that civilians fleeing combat zone are following Tigray's forces, exposing them to Eritrean and Ethiopian gunfire when the front lines suddenly shift. And there is a serious risk of accelerating atrocities as the current phase of the conflict unfolds, with Ethiopian and Eritrean soldiers targeting Tigray civilian population as they recapture locations vacated by Tigray forces and hostilities continue. With both Abe and Isaias eyeing their recent battlefield gains as another opportunity to deal a fatal blow to the Tigray People Liberation Front, several risk factors are evident. First, Asmara may well have ruthless design with respect to Tigray, and it is nearly impervious to outside pressure. Eritrea's long-time ruler, President Isaias Afwerki, appears intent on crushing Tigray's leadership, and his forces have already engaged in widespread atrocities in the present war's first phase, including a massacre of scores of people in Aksum, confirmed by Ethiopia's government. And Isaias views Tigray's forces as an existential threat. He aims to ensure that Tigray will never again be a political, economic, or military rival to Eritrea, which formally gained its independence from Ethiopia in 1993. Moreover, trying to deter Isaias is a thankless task. Few leaders have shown more blatant disrespect for human rights or indifference to world opinion. Secondly, the war has seen a surge in dehumanizing hate speech by government official and Tigray People Liberation Front opponents, which is all the more potent against the backdrop of federal actions to collectively punish the Tigrayan peoples. An Abe advisor, notorious for his divisive rhetoric, said in September 2021 that Tigray People Liberation Front should be erased and disappeared from the historical record, while the mayor of Daire Dawa city stated 2 months later that Tigrayans are not created as humans. An European Union voice said in June 2021 Ethiopian leaders expressed intent to wipe out the Tigrayans for 100 years, an allegation Addis Ababa strongly refuted. And pro-government journalists and activists have since called for Tigrayans to be killed and for the entire Tigrayan population to be interned. On 20 October, a journalist wrote that the forces involved in the offensive should not be held responsible for killing civilians because the Tigray People Liberation Front is to blame, as it has called for mass mobilization of the population. And such sentiments further heighten fears that Tigrayan civilians could be targeted, especially as many of them back Tigray's forces. And thirdly, Abe may not be able to control his forces, even if so inclined. Addis Ababa is relying heavily on fairly new recruits for the current offensive. Their relative lack of training could lead to even graver atrocities than his more experienced forces have already committed in the region. A United Nations documented scene by a crisis group recorded multiple civilian deaths from airstrikes over the last 2 months. It also said Ethiopian and Eritrean soldiers executed 46 civilians in Shimbilina village in northwestern Tigray between 6th and 12th September. And the document stated that since 24th August, almost 500,000 have been displaced by fighting in that area, as well as southwest of Shire near the Amhara-Tigray border. And all this is occurring at the onset of the main harvest season in a devastated region that is heavily dependent on agriculture. Sources close to Tigray's authorities claim that many more atrocities have occurred during the offensive, though no one has presented evidence of such additional crimes. So viewers, so far the latest update. For more latest update, please subscribe channel. Thanks for watching.